Freedom Circle podcast. I'm Marcia.
I'm Chantrice.
And I'm Sade. I am here making a way.
Welcome back, guys. Are you ready for us to continue on our series of forgiving? Today, we will be talking about forgiving ourselves. Yes, in this journey of forgiveness, not only do you have to forgive those who have hurt you, but you also have to forgive yourself. So let's jump into this. Let's talk about a time that you had to forgive yourself and what that process was like for you.
All right, so I can go ahead and start. I think for me, one of the times I definitely can remember is definitely, this season of, breaking up with my ex, right? Because I know that yes, he was wrong in some things, but so was I, right? I had to check myself and know that okay, like Shantice, you did some stuff too, and I have to take accountability for that and really forgive myself because I'm still learning. It's still a process, you know what I mean? And yeah, I was working through things, you know what I mean? And it's no excuse, but still I had to forgive myself and give myself grace and just learn from that particular, relationship so that going into the next one or just going through, life in general, that I'm not making those same type of, mistakes along the way.
And for me, I would say when I first started walking my faith a couple of years ago, walking with the Lord, uh, being committed, I had to forgive myself for the things that I repented for. Like I felt people used to always say that I'm too hard on myself, and I agree. Like I'm not perfect by all means, but I was really hard on myself in regards to my past, like promiscuity and like, just partying, smoking, drinking, doing other recreational drugs. And it was hard for me to get past that and realize that God has forgiven me. So therefore I forgive myself and I should move on. And that's not who I am. That's not who I'm defined to be. But that was just a chapter in my life that brought me to where I'm at today. And also like currently, like even just not how hard I am about doing certain things, like, hanging out with my friends and just doing stuff. It's just like I act like personally, I feel like I kind of like condemn myself in regards to like, oh, I can't do this because I'm a Christian, or I can't do that, or I can't hang with that person because of my walk in life. Whereas I can still be who I am without having what other people do take from me, so to speak. Like it doesn't like I know they like to say like your company's what you keep, but it's just like I can still hang around certain people and still not be doing what they do, basically. But I used to be very, very hard about that. And that's how I came to a space where I was like isolating myself. Instead of like God isolating me, it was me being hard on myself. I'm still working on that still. But I really think like I was really hard on how I lived my past life and how it was hard for me. It was just like, while God forgave me, but I didn't forgive myself, I still held myself accountable to things that happened years ago.
I feel you on that because as I'm sitting here and I'm thinking, it's just like, I am so hard on myself. And I often have to tell myself and be reminded by other people, like, give yourself grace, like, be kind to yourself. And I often sit back and be like, wow, if I wasted so much time, like in my 20s and in my 30s, when I really should have been doing this, or that. And now I'm feeling like I have to play catch up, but it's like, no, everything happened the way that it was supposed to, because you knew what you knew then, you know what you know now. And that benefits you in this season. That might not have benefited you in last season because you might not have been mature enough to handle it in that season. And I'm like, wow, let me think about a time I had to forgive myself like every day, right? It's always something that
Right.
I do that I'm like, oh my God, why did I do that? Or I should have known better.
Mm-hmm.
But I always have to remind myself, like, I'm still human. Like, I'm going to mess up. I'm going to slip up. But his grace is like significant. But if I truly want to talk about a time where it hit me the hardest is when my brother transitioned, and all those, like when you go through something, it's always those I should have, could have, would have, right?
Mm.
Like I should have did this, I could have did this. right? And it's just like, well, you did the best that you could with the knowledge that you had. And I had to like forgive myself, and I had to remind myself that one, the enemy tries to get us to be doubtful of ourselves. The enemy tries to shame us for the sins that we try to commit. So whenever those thoughts are running through our mind, it's the enemy trying to tear us down, right? Because the enemy doesn't want us to forgive ourselves. The enemy doesn't want us to let go. He wants us to be paralyzed by those thoughts, by those sins that we committed. When God has said that I have wiped your slate clean, which means once I say, God, please forgive me, and he forgives me, he forgot about it. Like it's over and it's done. And a lot of times when we are still having those thoughts, we have already we have already forgiven someone else. And even in those situations when someone else has hurt us, we still hold ourselves accountable for, like, you know, the things that we say, like, oh, I should have known better. I shouldn't have let him did that. If I did this or did that, then it would have never happened. Listen, the only thing that we have control over is the now. And it's nothing we can do about what happened yesterday. And so we have to forgive ourselves. And when we're not forgiving ourselves, then we're not focusing on the lessons that I learned from that situation. What wisdom can I take from that situation? We allow ourselves to stay stuck right there in that place. So if I haven't forgiven myself or even another person from something that happened last year, then I'm still in last year. I'm not even in 2023. Right? Because I'm still holding on to something that happened last year. And I can't move past last year until I have released that person and released myself from that season. So over the years and over your experience of like really understanding the importance of forgiving yourself, what happens when we don't forgive ourselves? Like, what does it do to you when you don't forgive yourself?
Anxiety.
Yeah.
You know, like you got some, like, you know, like your weight, like you're on edge, not knowing when you're going to flip on somebody, or, you know, just spaz on someone just for underlying issues that has nothing to do with them. That's what I feel for myself, literally, is sorry, y'all.
Yeah, and you just, you know, you keep replaying whatever it is that happened, right? It's like it's on a loop, because you're still thinking about it, you're getting into that stuck place, and you can't really let it go and really move on in order to heal, because that's all you're thinking about. And like you said, the anxiety, you're anxious about it. Yes, but yeah, you hold on to that, and it's like, well, why? You know what I mean? You have to be able to forgive yourself so you can move forward and really learn from it. But then you're also tired, you know what I mean? Because you're up, not sleeping, because you're thinking about it or beating yourself up about it, and not really just enjoying the things that you normally would enjoy before.
Yeah, it definitely turns into physical symptoms, because your mind is just always thinking about it. You know, it moves into like the overload. And I know also when we don't forgive ourselves, we can't see ourselves, right? Like if I didn't forgive myself for something that, for the part that I played in a situation that has caused me hurt and pain, then I can't see me today, right? I can't see Marcia for who she really is, not for what she did wrong. All I'm thinking about is, oh, I'm just a mess up. I'm always messing up. I can never get it right. The whole time, I don't see me, Marcia, the beautiful soul that I am, and realizing that I'm human, and what human doesn't mess up? There's no perfect human out there. No,
Exactly.
no perfect human out there. And it really put those blinders on us where we don't see things clearly. And
Yeah,
we
like right now,
we're hearing.
like right now, I'm currently trying to forgive myself for school. You know how we were just talking about this a couple weeks ago when you were taking class, Marcia, and you were stressing about your class and you ended up passing it. That's me currently right now. literally, just with everything that has been going through, that we've been going through amongst my family right now, and not being able to show up as I would like to show up in this class. And I'm not a good math student in general. And it was like I was really hoping to do better this year with at my age that I'm in. It's just like, with my maturity level. And it's just like I felt like I've had every barrier to make an excuse for why I'm not doing well. And also trying to give myself grace, like, well, I'm trying my best. Like, I have 4 children, I work full time, I'm married, and I'm in school. And then I've had personal, real life family issues that's been going on around me. And it's just like me trying to balance everything. And it's just like, I keep thinking negative, like, oh, I'm going to fail this class. Oh, I'm going to waste money on, paying for this class that I just paid for. What is my husband going to think? Is going to be upset with me. Am I going to be, how am I going to feel personally? I feel like I really feel like I'm really trying to just give myself grace and not trying to stress over it, because whatever's going to be is going to be regardless, right? And my last day of class for this class is next week. And it's like I have so many assignments due in the midst of me having to go to court tomorrow, me celebrating my dad's birthday on Sunday. He's been gone for almost 7 years. Me going to a funeral on Monday to see to say my last goodbyes to my favorite cousin. And then the next day I have my final and I have a project due. And I have 3 homework assignments due tomorrow. And it's just like, when I say I feel like I'm driving myself crazy at this point and forgive myself, because just like, I can't, what am I going to tell my professor this? He's probably like, okay, that's life. Everything's just happening at the wrong time at the moment. I'm saying, it's just like, how much grace can he give me? What can he do? What can he say? Like even last week when we had his candlelight vigil, I had an exam that day. And I failed that exam because why? I was rushing. I was trying to make it to his candlelight vigil on time, but also trying to rush and take this exam. When I say I just feel like I wish I could just do a do-over this semester, I really do feel like it. But at the same time, I'm just like, I don't know. Like I'm confused. I'm like kind of lost at this point, to be honest. Like I'm just like, I don't know how am I supposed to move forward? How did God, was this a test for me to focus in the midst of everything, or God knew this was going to happen? I was like, because he knows me, right? How was I supposed to maneuver during this time? Am I not taking the initiative, or am I not trying hard enough, or am I trying hard, or am I trying hard enough, or am I not trying hard enough? More so, like, I don't want to have a mental breakdown. So I don't know. Like and currently today, that's how I feel.
So I feel like when I hear you talking, right, I guess my encouragement to you, right, is one, yes, like you have to slow down. Okay? Because if not, your body, you know what I mean? Like your body can't keep going at the pace that it's going. With everything that's going on, you know what I mean? You continue to just pile on, it's gonna spill over, right? And I think that, for your classes, sometimes we have to kind of step in like, hey, maybe I have to retake this class. Maybe, you know what I mean? Like maybe it's got to be that. Maybe. I'm not saying that is, but it could be, right? But just being okay, like, okay, if I have to retake it, then I have to retake, because maybe the second time around you'll be able to then focus. There's not as many things going on in your life, right? But then even with your teacher, instead of, I guess, us making up like, oh, I know what he's gonna say, or they're not gonna give me a second chance, talk to them. Maybe he will, you know, maybe he might be understanding and say, oh, hey, you know what? Maybe I'll give you an extension till so and so date. He might give you, that extension, but you don't know unless you kind of put it out there. It's just kind of like, asking for that help, not thinking that you can do it all on your own, because you can't. And that's okay. You
And
know
then
what I mean? Like,
I know what you mean, but then I have this, I don't want to say, I don't know what I want to say. It's just like, I don't want to be that victim, because people are going through way worse stuff than I'm going through currently, like I'm still able to do everything. It's just a matter of how I do it. I'm just coincidentally just not good in this class on top of everything else I have going on, you know? So it's just like, you know, it's just like, I don't know. I'm just so, I don't know. Honestly, I feel like, I feel like once this class is over, then I'll figure out like, you know, okay, well, yeah, you either going to have to repeat this class or you did it by the grace of God. I'm hoping that I really, I don't know. I really don't know. I'm just literally, this is a good conversation. And it's like, I'm literally, yeah, I spoke about something, you know, my past earlier, but like currently it's just like, I really had to say that out loud.
Why? What makes you a victim? Why?
Because it's just like, oh, well, you have all this stuff going on. So, oh, I should let you have extensions then, you know? Like, things
But
got to
that's
move
the
on.
story that you're making up, right? That's the scenario that you're saying. They may not feel that way. You don't know what they're going to say because you haven't talked to them. And I think that that's part of this journey, right? Like we have to be able to, yes, give forgiving ourselves and giving ourselves grace, but not trying to make up this, like we can't foresee what people are going to say, how they're going to feel, how they're going to act. We can't predict that, and you will literally drive yourself crazy trying to do that. So it's either you just put it out there and you go with what happens. That's it. That's it. Like it's not about like what your husband might say or what your kids might say or how they're going to look at me. No, what do you believe about yourself? What are you capable of doing? What do you have the capacity for? What can you do? Because the only thing that you're in control of is you, your feelings, how you handle it, how you react, how you respond. You're only responsible for you with this situation.
I'm gonna go ahead and
Yeah.
jump in real quick, and I'm gonna say that you have to put you down.
Yeah.
So one thing that like I'm just gonna second what Chantry said is I'm gonna bring the word to you have not because you ask not. Right? You're assuming that your professor is going to judge you and not be understanding. Right? You forgot that you as a child of God, right? Right? Humanly speaking, it may be impossible, but with God, all things are possible. The second thing that you did is you kind of compared yourself to others because you said, well, I know people are going through way worse, and
Right.
you're Sade. And this is how you're handling the situation. And you're not a victim. You're not a victim is someone who goes and calls everyone and screams out and say, see me. I need you to see me. You're sitting here trying everything that you can do to make it work. But the mistake that you're making is you're trying it in your own power when you were never meant to do it on your own. You're not meant to be superwoman or super mom or super wife. And this season right now, with what's been going on with you in the last month, this is when you start to put stuff down. This is when you pull hubby to the side and be like, look, I can't do this right now. I can't cook. I can't do this. This is what I need to do in this season. And we know that seasons are temporary. I just need to get through this season because it's either me trying to do what I've always done, plus the other things that I have to do, and then me ending up in a hospital or somebody's grave, or we all come together, we have this family meeting, and we figure out how we're going to work this thing out together. I need to pass this class. Y'all need me to pass this class. Right. And best to believe the queen of always having something going on when you taking a test, straight up email, dear professor, I'm the queen of it. Like, I don't have no shame because it's my truth. Now, either they're going to say, yes, I'm going to give you an extension. Yes, I'll let you retake that test. Yes, I'll give you an extra credit assignment. Listen, one thing you got to know is regardless of how much evil we have in this world, there are so many people in this world with good hearts, understanding, right? But we have to ask. And that's where your biggest mistake is too, like not asking your professor, not offloading stuff onto other people, not saying no, Not saying not today, not saying not right now. I'm not talking to you. I'm not picking up the phone. I'm not returning your text until I can do it. People can say whatever they want to, but you need this time to pass this class, to deal with the court situation, to mourn the passing of your loved one. And if they can't understand it, that's not your problem. That's their problem. And that's straight up real. Because if something happens to you, where they gonna be? If something happens to you, who's gonna be paying your bills? Who's gonna be taking care of your kids? Are they gonna be there? Are they gonna do that? So you is your priority. Even with your kids, it's like, I can't do this right now. Like, I love you, but I can't make it to your game. Or you got, and I feel like, look, I'm the queen of having a family dinner and a family meeting and letting my kids know, like, I can't do this right now. And that's showing them how to be vulnerable, how they don't always have to have it together, how they don't always have to be perfect, right? How it's important for you to verbalize that you need help or that you can't do something, because this is what you need to focus on. Self-care is teaching them how to put time to the side, how to set boundaries. Okay? And listen, right? Listen, because everything that we're saying is gonna benefit who? It's gonna benefit you. Because if you're not your best self, then how can God use us if we're not our best self? Right? And you see, like, over the last couple of days, I've had to like rest. I had to put my phone on what's it called? Do not disturb. Throw that thing somewhere. Tell my kids, like, I can't right now. Like, go ask your dad. Go figure it out. Go ask your sister. Cause I needed to rest. Cause sometimes when you have so many things coming at you in every which of direction, you have to take the time to regroup. You have to take the time to be still. You have to take the time to be quiet, right? Jesus wept. Jesus rested. Like, and we can't feel good. We can't feel guilty for doing what we need to do in order to be who we're supposed to be. And the people who love you, the people who's supposed to be in your life, they'll understand it. They might get mad, but they'll be forgiven.
But you know, to be honest, it's not even people, it's me.
I know it's you.
Like, it's literally no one, because
but you're making up stuff in your head.
No, I know. I really am, because I'm very good at like not returning a phone call, not responding to a text message. I'm good with that. My children and them understand, like we were just saying earlier, like, you ask them, they say they cooking more than me lately. It's me. It's literally me. It's literally like me, really in my head, just like driving myself crazy. Talk like, you know, it's like I have a to-do list that's like a web.
You need to make your columns. What do you need to let go? What do you need to delegate?
Like we learned today.
What they say is, with like successful people say, is you make a to-do list. Only put 3 things on your to-do list every day and knock out those 3 things. And then you go on to the next day. Like, if you have time to do more, then you do more. But don't put more on yourself. Like, does this really need to be done? The question you have to ask yourself, does this really need to be done right now? Am I the person that needs to do this? Is this something that I can train somebody to do? Is this something that I can give to someone else? Listen, is this something that I can pay somebody else to do? Because sometimes in those seasons when my schedule is crazy, house cleaner, hello, dropping my clothes off at the wash and fold, hello, I will pay somebody to cook me some food, hello. Because we can't do it all. We can't. And you have to be kind to yourself. Like, who do you think you are? Sorry, I didn't say it, but who do you think you are? You're one person.
Yeah, I mean, I just think it's more so just like the trials that I just really think it's just a personal thing. It's like, just, losing my cousin, and then when people die, it's always drama, right? And then, like, just going through the court stuff. It's just like everything's happening in 1 week, like literally like court, papers, projects, exam due, funeral. It's like literally bam, bam, bam. My dad's birthday. It's like literally the 3rd, the 6th, the 7th, the 8th. Like, and that's stuff to, like, maintain, do homework in between everything. I think it's just a lot in 1 week. And it's just like literally Wednesday morning on August 9th, all of it will be over. Like, I don't have to worry about the class. I don't have to worry, like, the funeral's done. The court's done. Like, it's just like literally just this week coming, or not this week coming, tomorrow, So
Yeah.
it's like really everything's happening in 1 week.
I definitely get it, because even for myself, like this week, I at work, I'm teaching a class all week, which takes up majority of my time. We are being audited in 2 different programs, and then COVID decides that it wants to start breaking out again. By the way, I'm a nurse, so I'm in charge of maintaining things and sending out policies and making sure that everybody gets tested, all of these things. And let alone my brother's anniversary is next Saturday, right? And so yesterday, I started feeling like I was sick. Like, I'm like, I don't know what's going on, but I pray to God this is not COVID. But COVID was popping in my head because so many people, not that I've been directly in contact with, have tested positive for COVID. So I know that it's coming back. And then my throat started itching, and I'm like, my body started feeling tired. And so I went to the urgent care, and I was like, test me for COVID and strep, because I know this chick has strep not too long ago. I said, so maybe I can have strep because my throat was feeling funny. And then they did like a chest X-ray because I was short of breath, and then like an EKG. And she was like, I mean, well, she was so funny. Everything is stupendous. Like, everything, your breath sounds are good, and your tests are, normal, and your X-ray is clear, your EKG is good. Just monitor it. If your symptoms get worse or anything, go. I just want you to follow up with your doctor. But my blood pressure was high. And the crazy thing is, when I was teaching, the first symptom I felt was like, it was like a shortness of breath, right? And in my mind, it was like, am I anxious about something? If anyone who ever dealt with anxiety or panic attacks, then you know what I'm talking about. And after I did all those tests, and she was like, you're good, the word I heard was rest. And rest doesn't just mean rest your body. Rest means rest your mind, right? Yep. Because when our mind is constantly going, then we start and we're not fully resting. Like, your brain is one of the biggest organs in your body, and it affects every part of your body. And so when we don't allow our minds to rest, then we start having physical manifestations because our mind is not resting. And you'll go to the doctor and you'll get frustrated because they're like, well, everything is normal. And you're like, well, I have pain, or my skin is breaking out, or whatever it may be. And they're like, but all your tests are normal, your vitals are normal. That's because your mind needs to rest. And I took the evening, and all this week I kind of been going to bed extra early. And even when I set my alarm for the 5 a.m. calls, I still can't get up. And I'm like, but I went to bed early. Like, it just don't make no sense. And yesterday, after that, and I was just like, okay, I went to bed early, and I was determined that I was going to wake up at 5 a.m. calls. The alarm went off, I rolled over. But let me tell you, that extra amount of sleep this morning, and I woke up, I was ready I was ready for war. I was like, oh, today is gonna be a good day. Like, it's like when you allow yourself to rest and when you don't make yourself feel guilty for resting, we need it. I mean, especially if you're a person like we're moms, right? Some of us are wives, right? Some of us are older siblings, or we get treated like older siblings. And if you're an older sibling, then you know what I'm saying. You're like the mom of everybody, right?
Mm-hmm.
We work jobs, we work in ministry, we have side hustles. We have to give ourselves rest. Rest, even you men who listen to the podcast, like y'all have to rest too.
Absolutely.
You know, heart attacks are not from, most of the time, especially for men and women, it's not because we're not eating right. It's not because we're not physically active. It's because we're stressed. And why are we stressed? Because we're not resting. We're not setting boundaries. We're not delegating things. We're not letting go of things. We're trying to do everything. But you were never meant to do everything. And it's okay if you don't get it done. It's okay if homegirl or homeboy from next door made it to the place you were trying to go before you did. Okay, you still won't get to the place.
Right.
Them getting to the place before you does not take away from you being able to get to the place.
That's true. I mean, yeah, whatever's for me, whatever's for you.
And you gotta be careful what you say, because who said that you wasn't gonna pass this class?
I know, I keep saying that, and I keep saying that. Y'all don't understand. Like, it's like a battle in my mind currently. I'm just like, I need to speak life. I need to stop saying that. I'm going to pass this class. You know, God, if it's meant for me, it's meant for me. You know, I mean, it is what it is. I can't tell my future. Tuesday hasn't came yet. So it's like, why am I even talking about Tuesday and today's only Wednesday? But it's just, you know.
He's already, listen, he's already worked it out. We don't even have to figure it out.
No,
like, he's already, I mean, and come on, like you know how, I always tell y'all, I'll be like, on the Zoom talk, I always say, check your receipts, right? When you're walking through something, check your receipts. And you checking your receipts may not be your own receipts, but you may have been a witness to someone else's receipts. And I went through the same thing that you're going through last semester. I was like, oh my God, I'm not going to pass this class. I done spent over $1,000 and I'm going to have to retake it. I'm a full-grown woman. I should still not be doing the same things I was doing when I first started college, with having to keep retaking classes, having to be put on probation from financial aid because I flunked out of a class. And what happened?
You passed it, and that's what I passed. And that's what I promise you, if you don't think I'm not thinking about you, that's why I brought this up, because it's like, I wasn't even going to talk about this, but I was just like, yeah, it just came up. Because it's like, this is real life. This is what I'm really going through right now. And I keep thinking about you. Like, you know, you did it for Marcia, so you could do it for me. God, you wouldn't put me in this predicament. You wouldn't even allow me to even walk this walk, or being back in school. Like, you're not going to bring me this far to, you know, for me to turn back around. You know what I'm saying? For me to turn back now. Like, I came too far. I've came too far. You know, I'm doing it. So it's just like, so I keep saying I'm trying to trust in the Lord. I keep saying I'm trusting the Lord, but like, you know, you can say and act, and I'm saying it, but obviously I'm not acting fully on it. And that's what I'm working on. Like I said, forgiving myself on not on my unbelief, you know, not trusting the Lord, even though I'm saying it, even though I'm praying about it. But it's just like, you know, I'm human. I'm definitely human. Like, I have my moments when I'm just like, I got this. Like, before we logged on, I was about to log on to class, but then we end up logging on, so I stopped it. But it's just like, you know, as we were saying earlier, like, you know, tweaking is still doing, trying is still doing, and I am trying. I'm trying. It's not like I'm just saying forget it and I'm stressing about it. No, I'm stressing about it, but still doing it. So I'm trying. You know, I'm trying. Like, I'm not doing it just to do it. I'm doing it with my whole heart, because I want to pass it. I want to do the work. I want to do it right. And like, there's been plenty of times where I will get, like, the homework assignments we get like multiple chances to get it right. We get it, like, you can keep doing it till you get it right. So like, you know, when I'm tired at night after a long day of work and just dealing with everything, I won't get anything right. But then the next morning when I'm well rested, I'll tell my husband, or after I eat a meal, I'm like, dang, Andrew, you saw how hard I was stressing just now, but look at me. I just went through the questions with flying colors. Like, look what a rested mind or like, a full tummy will do to you. Like, just being comfortable, like just being at ease, being at peace. How it does help. It's just that in this current moment, at whatever time it is currently, this is how I feel.
But how,
Not to say, like when we get done with our little therapy session right now, I might feel 100% better and like ace homework assignments. I have 3 homework assignments due by 6 p.m. tomorrow night. I might be able to do really well, but in this current moment, this is how I feel.
but what
You
if,
will do well.
In
what if
Jesus'
you
name.
just, what if you just doing what the word says?
What am I doing?
What if you're just doing what the word says? You're expressing what you're walking through, what you're going through now. What if you're just doing what the word of God says? The word of God says, what? Boast about your weaknesses. Why? He's the only way that you're going to make it to the other side of all of this. So by you sitting here and talking about how you are struggling and how everything that you're going through, and then next Wednesday, right, when you give that report that you passed that class with flying colors, that you was able to make it through the funeral and the weight of your cousin's passing, that you were able to celebrate your dad like never before this past Sunday, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you're able to smile through it all. Like, isn't this what the word says? Like, I think sometimes we get so lost in words sometimes, right? But
Yeah.
I mean, as you were talking, like that's the thing that came to my mind. Well, she's talking about her weaknesses. She knows she can't do it on her own. So, because we got to be able to talk about our weaknesses. We can't just show up and be like, I have arrived. No, what did that process look like?
How did you get there?
How did you get there? Like, I didn't have all the answers. I didn't have it all together. I was struggling. But what did I do? I trusted God. I prayed. I spoke his truth.
And not only that, look where you were before and where you are now. How'd you get there? You made it through, right? You've been through tough seasons before. He's pulled you through. Why wouldn't he do it again?
Right.
And I feel like, it's a test. You know what I mean? Like, how much do you really trust me? How much faith? I want to continue to bless you, but I want to, you know what I mean? I want to know that you're ready for it. I want to know. So just trust me. That's what he's telling you. Because he's going to see you through. You're doing the work, he's going to continue to see you through. Just have faith and trust him.
And that's what it is. It's not a test on his part, it's a test on our part. Because the word says that God doesn't ever tempt us. He doesn't, the thing is, we have free will. So you have a choice, right? So either you can follow him or follow the other side. And that will determine the outcome. So even though you may be fearful, even though you may not understand, even though you may not have all the answers, you're still trusting him. Or you can just say, forget it. I'm just not going to take this test. I'm not going to do these assignments. I'm just going to retake it. The class, right? That's the communication part. Right. Like, but if you follow him, then you know that it's gonna work for your good, even if it's not a favorable outcome that you feel, but it still is gonna work for your good. It's still like, even when the court let the girl who murdered my brother go, even to the world, it's like, oh, y'all lost. No, it's just beginning. Amen. We won. We still got the victory. And watch how he turn it around for our good. Even when the doctor said we did all that we could do, they did all that they could do. But God is the author and the finisher. Mm-hmm. And it's not done until he say it's done. You know, that's how we win. When we continue to put our trust in God, regardless of how it looks. Because if he can take you from what they say, the pimp house to the pulpit, right? If he can take you, if he can take me from being a fatherless child with having no voice to now having my own platform and speaking to so many different women from all over the world, you know, it's just like God can do anything. He can do all things. It's but only when we decide to partner with him. We have to take that step to partner with him. He's already worked it out. He's already laid the path is already written. It's already straight. But if we decide to go on a detour, when the GPS y'all know the GPS keep trying to turn you around, and you're like, no,
Rerouting.
I'm gonna go my own way. And the GPS
Rerouting.
keeps trying to turn you around.
Yep.
So eventually it will reroute you. And so
You still get to the destination.
you still get to the destination. It may take you longer, you know,
Stressed, anxious, frustrated, angry.
You're gonna be in traffic, you're gonna get a flat tire, you're gonna get pulled over. But all you had to do was follow his plan and trust him. And that's why he's like, why are you being so mean to yourself? Like,
Right.
I'm not even that mean to you. I don't even treat you that way. So why are you treating yourself like that? How do you benefit from treating yourself like that? So what we're trying to say here is there's no benefit from not forgiving yourself. No benefit at all. All it does is continue to push you deeper into a rabbit hole, and it keeps you from the blessings that have already been laid out, prepared, ironed out for you. And yes, it can be a process. Just like forgiving other people, forgiving yourself can be a process. But you just ask God, Lord, help me to let go of the things that I cannot let go of. Help me to see me the way that you see me. Help me to talk about myself the way that you talk about me. And that's renewing of your mind every day. How do you renew your mind? Being in your word, studying, meditating, listening to it. But you got to do it every day, because not forgiving yourself and not forgiving others, it don't benefit nobody but the enemy. So we thank you for listening to Freedom Circumcised today. Until next time, I'm Marcia.
Trees.
I'm Sade. I'm here making a way.
Bye.
Bye.